Howdy, my name is Justin Reed. I'm the Assistant Chief of EMS for the Cypher Volunteer Fire Department, and I served as a Logistics Section Chief during Hurricane Harvey.
And my name is Rodney Reed. I'm the Assistant Chief of Operational Support for the Harris County Fire Marshal's Office. During Hurricane Harvey, I served as the ESF 4, 9, and 10, or Fire Rescue Hazmat Branch Director at the Harris County Emergency Operations Center. Hurricane Harvey was a significant impact to our region. Not only just our region, but the state. 40 counties were affected. Harris County, although when Hurricane Harvey made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane, the effects that we felt in Harris County were much more along the lines of a flooding event, receiving up to 51.88 inches. As you can see from this slide, one of the critical things that we like to draw attention to is the fact that the National Weather Service had to create its own brand new color in order for us to show the total rainfall amounts. And so this was a significant incident, not only from the county perspective, but also with our local first responders that were out in the field making these things happen. So one of the biggest issues that we're here to talk to you about today at this conference is talking about what happens when emergency support functions, or ESF 8 versus 9, start to come into competition for resources. At the fire desk at the county level, we were sitting there coordinating with our 54 fire departments in the region, attempting to get resources down to them from Texas Military Forces to FEMA USAR teams so they could support this mission. But one of the big issues we ran into was what happens when the medical professionals need to access people that are not in a rescue evacuation mode, but were actually in a position where there was a legitimate medical emergency, and how you overcome those.
Exactly. As a large EMS-based fire department, one of the biggest issues that we ran into were we had a mass evacuation on top of our current normal operational needs, in addition to people that needed rescue with special medical circumstances. So how did we as a department take those resources from the county and then bring them into our local umbrella where we had an area command set up, and then send those units out so that we could make sure that patients were triaged accordingly and we were able to cover all of our responses. With an incident that's this large, no single service would be able to handle anything like that in and of themselves. So how did we as a department actually handle that function? When my crews come in and they're ready to respond to their normal operations during a hurricane event, how did their role actually expand during this incident? And it was a unique opportunity, because not only do we have to respond to our normal 911 calls in an austere environment, but then additionally we had to focus on force protection. How are we going to make sure that all the responders, over 400 responders that were working in our territory, how do we make sure that they were taken care of? Then when the shelters of last resort get set up, how did we then deal with the long-term and acute care needs of those patients that were technically within our sphere of influence? How did we address that? And then when our hospitals had additional things that were outside of our normal scope, how do we handle that? Who do you call? How do you deal with the alternative methods of transport and alternative transport destinations? That's one of the things that we would really like to talk to you about.
So we're really excited. Hurricane Harvey was a great lesson for first responder community throughout the state of Texas. And we're thankful for the thousands of responders who came to help. And we hope that whenever you sit down, you can learn from what we figured out and our best practices and our route forward to look at some very complicating factors that apply not only just in regions affected by hurricanes, but also by regions that around the nation that have to figure out how to come together and how to work together to achieve that positive outcome for our residents and the citizens we're called to serve.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you at EMS Today in National Harbor, Maryland.